That's why they call me bad company, but I can't deny. Bad company till the day I die. Till the day I die. Till the day I die.
What's up, guys? Type 1 Rider here. It is Wednesday. Haven't posted in a while. Been going through some stuff. Was sick this weekend. If you guys are on my Instagram account, you probably already know. But had a little diabetes issue this weekend. Had to go to the ER, get some fluids. So all better now. But yeah, so I wanted to bring you guys an update. So I was nominated to do a challenge. Basically, it's a 5-question challenge, 5 life-changing experiences. Epic Eric, I'm sorry. His link will be down in the description. Epic Eric actually nominated me to do this a while back. So I'm finally getting to it. And without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So, top 5 life-changing experiences in my life. So we'll start one with the obvious. When I was 10 years old, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and I've been living with that ever since. It shaped my life, being that, you know, my entire day is basically kind of, I live around, you know, taking care of my diabetes, you know, what I eat, making sure I'm getting my medicine, you know, making sure my blood sugar is under control. So everything I do, every second of the day, I have to think about that first, you know, including going out on my bike, you know, making sure that I have backup supplies, you know, God forbid something happen, and, you know, my insulin pump, you know, that I use to continuously give me my medicine all day. If the infusion set falls off because I get sweaty, I have to make sure that I have backup supplies. Or if my CGM, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, my CGM sensor that continuously tells everybody tells me what my blood sugar is, and my wife obviously also follows that because it, you know, gets uploaded to the cloud. If that comes off, you know, I have to make sure I have a backup way of testing my sugar. So I, you know, have to bring, you know, a glucose monitor with me. Also, you know, being diabetic, you know, your sugars could drop or go up high, you know, at any point in time for whatever reason it might be. So I have to always make sure that I have a backup way of providing insulin, such as an injection, or I always have to make sure that I have a snack on me in case my sugar drops, you know, unexpectedly. Also being hydrated. So that's part of the reason why, you know, I ride a bagger, is because, you know, I need that extra storage in order to, you know, bring my stuff around with me. God forbid something happens. So yeah, I mean, being a diabetic since I was 10, it's kind of shaped my life. You know, as a teenager, I was super non-compliant. Very, very non-compliant, actually. And I'm paying for that now. You know, I have a lot of complications that I deal with. One being autonomic neuropathy, which kind of put me in the ER this weekend. I had to get some fluids to, you know, get rehydrated. So, autonomic neuropathy, retinopathy, you know. I've been blind twice, you know, in the past 6 years because I've had a bleed in my eye. So lots of those things that I deal with on a daily basis that kind of shape how I live my life on a daily basis. Moving on to number 2, you know, I would have to say, you know, the birth of my son. I was 20 years old when I found out, you know, my ex was pregnant with him. Bit of surprise, but, you know, I wouldn't change it for the world. I was kind of a rebel, you know, at that age, you know, partying, giving a shit about my blood sugar or my diabetes, taking care of that. You know, partying was my life. But as soon as, you know, I got the news that I was gonna have, you know, a son or a child at the time, you know, my whole mindset changed. I ended up, you know, working 3 jobs, doing whatever I could to make sure that I could support my son, because you know that was really my life. In a sense, you know, he kind of saved me. I think if I never would have, you know, if we never would have had him, I think I would have gone down a different path, and you know, God only knows where I would have ended up, because the fact that, you know, I pretty much partying every night, you know, that was my thing. So, you know, that is definitely probably one of the most significant experiences of my life, was the birth of my son. You know, best thing that's ever happened to me, absolutely. Next thing, believe it or not, some of you guys might argue this, but the next thing is definitely going to be, you know, marrying my wife. You know, it was completely out of the blue, you know, because my wife and I grew up across the street from each other. You know, she moved here from Barbados when she was 5 years old, and I was about 7 at the time, and we used to play, hang out. You know, she used to pick on me, beat me up, and you know, I mean, we fooled around once in a while, you know, when we were teenagers, but it wasn't anything serious, you know. But then we both, you know, went through a relationship, had kids. She had a son as well. You know, we found each other again, you know, following those failed relationships, and you know, we ended up hitting it off, and here we are, going on 8 years later. You know, actually been together 9, so going on 8 years of marriage later. 3 great children. You know, I've acquired a wonderful stepson that I've been raising since he was 2 years old. You know, he's like my blood. I mean, I wouldn't consider him anything else. And in a lot of ways, he kind of acts a lot like me, in his demeanor and, you know, the things he does. So I mean, he's been paramount in my life as well, shaping, you know, what I've become over the past decade. So yeah, that definitely would be one of the top 5 life-changing experiences. Number 4, it's kind of a twofer. You know, when my daughter was born, you know, I don't know if you guys as fathers would agree or disagree, but you know, having a daughter is a different experience. My daughter is like my right hand. You know, she's my baby. You know, there's a different type of relationship you have with your daughter than you have with your son, I think. And, you know, she is a daddy's girl. And in addition to that, you know, unfortunately, she got my genes, which, you know, that caused her to also be diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 4. She's 6 now, and she's doing fantastic. I mean, compared to me, I mean, it's night and day. I think the difference is that, you know, she grew up seeing me dealing with my diabetes and taking care of myself, so it's not as scary as it was for me. Not only that, is she has also a best friend in her class that she's, you know, actually been in her class since in kindergarten. That's also a type 1 diabetic. I didn't have that. I had to go away to, you know, sleepaway camp when I was 12 years old to find other kids that, you know, were like me. I was the only person like me. I was the only person like me in probably my county that I knew of, and obviously in my school. So yeah, I mean, the fact that she's now diabetic, it's forced me to kind of take care of myself a lot better, because there's no way I want her to go through the stuff that I went through, and I'm trying to teach her good habits, you know, and not develop the habits that I developed when I was a kid. Last but not least, is buying a house. You know, me and my wife purchased a house here in Port St. Lucie about 4 years ago. You know, we're from West Palm Beach originally, and I love it up here. I wouldn't go back to West Palm Beach. I mean, the congestion and the traffic and the craziness down there, it's like being in Fort Lauderdale like 15 years ago. So I'm happy. You know, we moved up here, we bought a house, you know, we're anchored here. I love it, you know. The only thing I would complain about is I'm starting to get tired of the heat. And, you know, eventually when I retired, I'd love to, you know, move up to North Georgia or something like that. But other than that, you know, that's my top 5. I mean, I don't know what else there would be more to say. But yeah, I mean, out of those, I think the biggest thing would be, you know, my diagnosis and the birth of my son has changed my life completely. So with that being said, I also want to nominate somebody else to go ahead and do this challenge. His YouTube name, his channel is Tava Grad. He is a software engineer from SoCal, and he rides a 2018 Fat Bob that he has named Boba Fett. So check him out. His link will be down below. Look out for his video and go ahead and subscribe to his channel as well. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow this. Eventually I want to do some stuff to kind of generate some money for a good cause, you know, help support JDRF and, you know, Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. So would love if you guys could go ahead and subscribe and share this channel. Thanks, and talk to you guys later.